Merry Grace. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Priscilla almost tried to tear the background down, so kind of kept her busy. Just right before I went live, she was about to tear it down again. It's like maybe next time. Okay, so we're gonna go into that's right. I was gonna go into some other subject yesterday. That's right, the Anunnaki. I guess I'll tap into that in the future. So the Masonic Lodge, Washington D.C. or the Masonic energies. Why not? Of course, there's also Philadelphia, which I didn't think about. But Washington's pretty much a heavy hitter. Both of them are actually. So there's probably a lot there that people aren't that aware of, or they don't live there, obviously. But of course, there's a grid there that's very like a shape of an owl, like the street grid. I think it's shaped as an owl. Yeah, so of course that's the District of Columbia, which is not the best energy. None of us the best energy. So I guess maybe we're all Masons and we don't even know it. So yeah, bridge builders, I guess, to some level. Yeah, but they basically own that town. And so, of course, Philadelphia, which I didn't even tap into, but of course, St. Louis has a strong energy of Masonic energies. So, but Washington, D.C. is still a heavy hitter, of course. Obviously, even mind controlling the politicians that are there. Obviously, many of them are Masons. Of course, some of them are skull and bones energies. It just gets better and better. CIA energy, they have to do that to keep the secrecy going or keep the control going or whatever you want to call it. So just got universities, basically it's just universities, obviously when they hide knowledge, of course, even for those that are attending. I mean, some are allowed to know certain things, but for the most part, it's like recruiting for the secret societies, basically. Lovely. I guess there's just some areas that many just don't want to go there. For obvious reasons. Might as well just connect to the secret space program and go fly away in that realm. Because when you get hardcore to what's running this world, it's not the easiest. Yeah, it's good to protect your energy also when you connect to these type of subject matters. But I can't remember why I'm going in this direction, but because there's a lot of stuff there that's not that well known. And they have the Alfred Pike that created or was involved with the Ku Klux Klan. His statue was torn down in 2020, which I didn't even talk about. So there's other. I mean, one of the major Masonic lodges there is on the street of the Washington White House. It's behind it. I think several blocks behind. I don't know how close it is, but it's like because they're the ones that built the city practically. So love it. I think Truman's Truman is a Mason, and of course George Washington, and so on. So, all right. So what's happened to those energies? Yeah, protect your vibe for sure. It might come off as friendly, and there is friendliness there, but there is also a lot of darkness, no doubt. And also the felines of Newark Library. So the library has a statue of a feline in front of it. I was going to use that as a thumbnail, but we're starting off with the Masons and might as well just go in that direction. But the felines are also protecting the library, protecting its knowledge. Of course, not all felines are positive either. Some of them have their own deal, it's connected to the Egyptians. They have their own issues going on. And I have some background. If you ever hear the background, it's the cats. They're, wish they're not turning down the background. So, Usually, yeah, they're like knocked out, sleeping usually, but maybe not tonight. Probably because of subject matter. And also the Arcturians, the eighth dimension energies, just basically just kind of cleaning up everything all these other subject matters are going into, and maybe giving their perspective of the Masons and the Felines and whatever else that's going on. Of course, a lot of secrecy with the UFO stuff. It's just it's locked in. Well, I mean, you can channel it, but you can't bring it in physically. And the aliens have been pretty quiet, actually. They're just mostly observing for obvious reasons. They want to dip their toe in this place and get themselves into a lot of trouble. Yeah, once they start messing with us, there's no going back. Okay, where am I at here? All right. All right, so I'm Avatar.com. Private sessions. Yeah, schedule, I'm a little bit behind, but I'm catching up, sort of. I think I'm on the 3rd now. So, yeah, webinar tomorrow, social network behind the scenes, and the archive. And then we're going to, yeah, it's kind of a heavy subject matter, but it's not, it's whatever it is. So you have, I talked about this before. So it's a Washington Masonic Lodge for Washington George Washington, and that I believe that's inside of it. I haven't been there physically, but yeah, it's kind of a creepy energy there. But the monument is it's unbelievable. It's just but you don't hear about it like ever. It's like it's not even in the District of Columbia. It's outside. It's in Virginia somewhere. Being all creepy and everything. Jeez. Of course, they have the lodge. This is the lodge that's right outside of. Well, it's behind the White House. It's pretty far down the road, apparently. But yeah, this place is not exactly the best vibes either. Of course, it comes off as friendly. Of course, they have to do that for obvious reasons. But let's see. Yeah, they're basically just watching over the place. Of course, they helped build it. But even this feels very Egyptian. It's kind of like almost like get like a gargoyle vibe from it. Actually, there's like a little Egyptian person there too, something like that. So yeah, it's very it has like a little bit of an unwelcoming vibe around it, or a lot. It's keepers of knowledge, you can say. Yeah, it has like a griffin energy, but it's like a gargoyle. Also, of course, there's 2 of them. I think they all have a different name, but anyway. Yeah, gargoyle, Scottish Rite. Yeah. It's definitely keeping an eye on us. And then you have Alfred Pike. He's part of the Ku Klux Klan. And there's this statue being destroyed. It even says statue on fire, I believe. So it should have never been there to begin with. So it was always controversial when it was there. So I think there's a KKK energy. They even dress it up as a KKK. You can barely see it here, but they even put lovely. Yeah, there's not much in history. They try to keep him out of the whole Ku Klux Klan, but he was one of the founders, though. That's just not in mainstream history. And you put a statue of him there. Of course, that's gone now. Yeah, it was very eerie when it was there to begin with. So yeah, it's messed up. I guess he did a lot of good things, I guess. Of course, they had the felines in front of the New York Library. yeah, protecting it. But like I say, they don't always have the best vibe either, due to the state of the world and everything. It's like it's I don't know. I'll see if I can what I can tap into on. It's kind of like I mean, it has a good vibe and it has a bad vibe. So it just has, it's New York City, and New York City is like an elitist city, basically. I don't know. I mean, even the face of it, yeah, it doesn't exactly have the best intentions around it. It seems. There's the New York Library. I've never been there. Maybe one day, but it's definitely elite. More power elite there. So, telling you who's boss, basically. All right. So, I don't know. It's like there's something there that needs to be dislodged, I guess. Wherever it might be. And that's the hardcore stuff, at least with the Masons, at least. That you're not going to hear on your mainstream spirituality because they don't want to go there. They don't want to get their minds messed with. Yeah, especially the universities around the country. I mean, I imagine there's good to them, of course, but there's also alternative motives there. Gee, I wonder why. Yeah. Oh, especially these senators and all that, they get all this power. Never heard of these people, and they get a lot of power. It's like, okay, whatever. Or as an AOC came out of nowhere, and now she's kind of running the Democratic Party to a certain level. Like the mouthpiece of it is just a bartender. So it's just some things that just don't make a whole lot of sense. Like the clown of the Democratic Party. But anyway. So, all right, we'll go into the Masonic energies, see what we tap in there, what they have to say, if anything. If not, we'll go to the feline energies. And the felines might not always talk about what they're doing there. That's why I have the Arcturians to give a different perspective. Just because you channel the felines they'll give you their watered down version, but doesn't mean that they're going to go into what the hell they're even doing there. So. And they were kind of like gargoyles there too. Sort of. It's not the same. The Masons, the statues in front of the Masonic Lodge, in that lodge, the one by Washington D.C. has the remains of Alfred Pike there. That's one of the reasons why I went to that. Just kind of curious about Alfred Pike because nobody knows about that stuff. Oh, most don't even care for that matter. It's like, what is a Ku Klux Klan guy doing in a Masonic lodge right by the White House? What's that about? So, yeah, because they have like a burial of him. I think and it's right outside the Washington D.C. I've had it here somewhere. I don't know where it is right now. Anyway, doesn't matter. I can probably find it, but all right, we'll go on to the Masons and see what we have there. Yeah, protect your energies. Yeah. So, all right. You're actually interesting. With the Masons, there's obviously diverse energy. There's a lot of different, goes to the Knights Templar, of course, goes to Illuminati energies. There is some Arcturian there too. Maybe not the best Arcturian, but there is some Arcturian there. So the idea is to connect this on a neutral level and just see what they have to say. I connect to the bad guy. See what I connected to the egghead yesterday. I imagine that maybe triggered some people, but yeah, too bad. The truth hurts. So, all right, blessings. Greetings. This is Masonic energies. Yes, there is a reptilian connection to it. Those that feel like they know what's best for your reality. We're not going to come off too heavy, but basically they're galactic beings. Of course, it's through the human, of course, through rituals of the past. Basically, there are elite families that feel that they have to continue their power. There's always a different elite families and who can get there first. Because there's a war between all of them. Now, we're not going to go into all of them of who they are. They don't, a lot of times, don't want to be known. But it does come back to them. There's different Masonic energies. They're not all the same. But there's different elite families that are there to control our society. And some just let it go. It's okay. You want to control Washington, D.C., that's fine. We'll influence in a different way. We'll take over these other buildings and so on. FBI, CIA, whatever it might be. And there's nothing really to be afraid of if you just know more of your sovereign energy. But yeah, you see those that, there is a line not to cross. I mean, there is knowledge that you can retain to a certain level. You might get a general connection. But yes, these are the big boys, basically. And it is most of a male energy. If it was a female energy, probably a lot of things would be burning down right now, just because the female can't never keep hold of itself. So the male, it is male and female connected to this currently, of basically putting a spell on society. It is showing who is boss, and those of you who are very sensitive probably can feel these frequencies of, this is off-world energies. Now, the reptilian energy is, of course, connected to the human. It's basically, think of like the past reptilian beings telling humans what to do to retain their power. But it's still, humans still run this world. You might think that as aliens are running it. It's still a human. I mean, when we say reptilians, it doesn't, I mean, there's a humanoid reptilian energy there. It's still your world, no matter how you cut it. You can blame the aliens and say the aliens are doing all this. It's still the human influence that's still the strongest frequency. Of course, many in your society, humanity, as always, many are they just want to play and don't want to do anything. Yes, bang on their drum all day and do nothing. And that's why these control beings come in so easily. They create your sports stadiums. Now, there are beings that want to control your reality. They're more than happy for humanity to get smart and, say, have a discussion, you can say, in a diplomatic way. But obviously, there's many humans that are too lazy for that. So you have your sports stadiums and just go play and go do your thing. And it's for the kids, adult kids. And there's many of them. They just don't want to see what's really here. Some of you are seeing it. Some get very angry. But that's not how, you put the anger to a side, you can get more knowledge out of the beings doing this to your planet. Now, it's very small fractal of what the elite are doing here. A lot of it's just humanity just doesn't care. They're just wandering around lost. There's nothing wrong with that, but it becomes a lifestyle, and many just don't want to figure themselves out. They don't want to do the work to figure out this planet, this universe, talk to the universe, talk to planets, talk to whatever. You'd be surprised how many can actually technically telepathically connect to a planet's energy, just like that. But they just think they're crazy and just go back to playing some kind of sports game or whatever it might be. So it just shows how many adults have not really grown up. That's why the sports energy is here. And there's nothing wrong with sports. It is a good exercise. But it's basically for the lazy. It's just, you have to do your work, and getting into sports helps relieve a lot of stress. But there's another layer to this reality. And many just don't want, it doesn't take that much of your time to be curious. Many are not curious. Some of you are. You just can't get to certain knowledge because humanity in general is not interested, as you can see, because it's not on a daily conversation. The controllers can only control us so much. It can lift out, it can weaken. So it's just not enough that want to know what's happening here. If half of your society wants to really know, knowledge will start to open up slowly, not easily. But the more you want it, the more the numbers are wanting, sacred knowledge, at least as much as you can get, much you can handle. At least you're looking. Most are not doing anything, as you can see. Greeks, we have the felines, connected to your New York City. There are felines that don't want you to know anything. You can see that's more of the statues in front of your New York library or any library, even part. There's a lot of feline energies in your London, statues of just not wanting you to know. It's just like they feel like they're the adults in the room, and you can know things, but they'd rather you not know anything. So yeah, it's funny how a library of knowledge they want you to know about, but there are some sacred books, and some of it is spiritualist work, occult energies. But yes, you can get to the astral realms if you want to know, by all means. But obviously, they're not giving out college educations to those that begin to understand the astral realm, the non-physical realms. Why would they do it? Because that's really where other sacred knowledge is also. Some of you can access higher dimensional knowledge and create your own version of CERN or radio, you know, reactors or whatever it might be. If you're surprised, that's what some of you can actually do here. Well, understand the spiritual war that's going on here too, which many of the magicians rather you not know. That's another reason why sports has been, infiltrated to keep the hypnotism going, keep you away from what's here. Those that have agendas here. Yes, the elite wars that's going on here, and just those that want to stay in power, the higher elite want to just continue their power for whatever reason. But so basically, there is knowledge there in these libraries, wherever or anywhere around the world. If you truly want to know something, well, there's only certain things you're allowed to know, but there are blockages. But if you really want to know, it'll find you eventually. If your energy synchronizes with this, the sacred knowledge that's here for your own growth, whatever it might be. Obviously, someone UFOs landing, and that's up to the UFO being. That's up to the aliens, really. Many don't want to do anything to do with this world. I mean, they're here, but the last thing they want to do is, some of them are abducting like crazy, like addicted to it practically, and they do that in the astral realms, and it can show up in the physical realms. You wake up with, scars on you and things like that. Yeah, and also yes, some of the alien beings go after the vulnerable, the children, for whatever reason, just to take their energy. It's not good. But it's nice for parents to become more aware of these things, to protect your kids, protect yourself for that matter. Especially like the teachers of this world. Some of them have been weaponized to control society. Some of them are magicians, to keep you away from what's really here. They'll give you knowledge, but also gatekeepers. So even your libraries, to a certain level, are gatekeepers themselves. That comes down to university teachers, because basically it's usually the teachers telling you what to read, and obviously they're keeping you away from what you probably should know. They might not know about the astral realms and spirituality, but they're programmed to keep you away from it. The less they know about it, the less they know that they're keeping you away from it. So it's just other layers that are going on. Blessings. Brings me to Arcturians. Yes, it's up to you what you want to heal, know about yourself. Of course, you can't know everything, but there is certain knowledge that you can access to a certain level. The Masonic frequencies, they're just basically kind of granddaddies from other realities. I feel like, they're known to go from world to world and well, I wouldn't call it control, but it's kind of like they're connected to the pharaohs. They're changed over time. They lost each other, they found each other. It's kind of like a soap opera there. Like Days of Our Lives. And they somehow have a way of manifesting power just like that without even trying. All of a sudden they're a CEO of a company. How'd you do that? Yes, it's connected to your bloodline. It's connected to, it does go back to Atlantean frequencies too, which they don't talk about very often. It goes also to the Masonic lodges are basically like Atlantean lodges when you really want to get down to it. Of course, many don't want to hear it that way. They want to go zoom off into the astral realm and forget this place. Yes, and there are literally in the astral realm, there are video games there, which many are obsessed with. They wonder why they're getting energy attacked on because you can tap into a reality where you're playing literally a virtual video game there. So that's why so many are addicted to that energy of the astral adventures, you can say. It's a program, but the Atlantean Masonic frequency, they don't even want to know about their Atlantean connections. They just want to know what they know now. But there is an Atlantean seed there of controlling society. They don't always know what they're doing. They do it anyway. Yes, they screwed up in the past, and not to say they're trying to repair it. They're just keeping what leverage they have on society to form it as they please. Not all of them are like that. Others would rather what's happening here, but they're quiet. So I wanted to use the word white hats. That's kind of a bizarre labeling for that, because should they walk around with a white hat? Is that what if they don't like wearing a white hat? Because you call them white hats and black hats. It's almost like, yes, you're putting like a label on them. Do they even want a label? As for some of you to understand, but so there are those that are benevolent, you can say. They're here to assist your society. But they're quiet. They're observing. Now, yes, they do, try to do good here, of course. Sometimes they have to do bad to do good, which is unfortunate. Like, cause this war to stop another war. It's too bad. Yes, even funding like the Russian war. Just the way it is. Just some things they just have. They might be proud of it. Yes, they do create karma for themselves, but they're still trying to leverage their power to do something good. But it's like when there's something that's happened unfairly. Like your 2020 situation. It's everybody got mixed up then during that time period. But the New York Library energies, do you have the knowledge that somebody wants you to know? The Vatican there's other libraries that you probably will never hear about that have more of your ancient knowledge, which is connected to your museums. So technically, some of your museums around your world have knowledge that they're just not going to make public ever. Not everything has been lost in history. Some, there's families that preserve certain architecture knowledge of ancient world. You've heard about the Arcturians. That's a small part of what's here. It comes down to magic words, even other languages that can really open up your vibration just by saying the language, even just reading, even if you know what you're reading. It's like a spell energy, but it can remove a lot of low vibrations, activate your DNA to a certain level. You notice like some of the languages here, obviously many are not speaking all languages, but there is a certain vibration to some of them. Like even your Asians, like in China and Japan, they have their language is a vibration. So they're not always affected by the negativity that's going around that the U.S. gets hit with. The United States gets hit all kinds of things. We have kind of like a flat language at a certain level. We have other languages that are like a song. Like they're speaking, it's like they're singing to you. So there's an energy field that they put both around themselves. So he gave us another perspective of how this all works. Blessings.